some Torah. Let's talk some Torah. We're talking Torah. Talking Torah.
Gilbert, we are talking Torah, and this is our day 2 reading for Sukkot. And this is our reading through of Deuteronomy for Sukkot. I explain a bit more of what we're doing, why we're doing it, and so forth, as well as the translation, the Fox translation I'm using, the Everett Fox translation. I put some information in the first video to describe how to reach that, how to get hold of him, or how to get hold of the translation. It's actually in the notes of the first recording. So, in the second recording, here we go. We're going to start off in Deuteronomy chapter 4. And it reads, "And now, O Israel, listen to the laws and the right rulings which I am teaching you to do, so that you live, and ye shall go in and possess the land which Jehovah Elohim of your fathers is giving you. Do not add to the word that I command you, nor take away from the word that I command you here today, as to guard all the commands of Jehovah your God, which I am commanding you. Your eyes have seen what Jehovah did at Baal Peor, for Jehovah your Elohim has destroyed from your midst all the men who followed Baal Peor. But you who are clinging to Jehovah your Elohim are alive today, every one of you. See, I have taught you laws and right rulings, as Jehovah my Elohim commanded me, to do thus in the land which you go in to possess. And you shall guard to do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding before the eyes of the people who hear all these laws, and they shall say, only a wise and understanding people is this great nation. For what great nation is there which has Elohim so near to it, as Jehovah our Elohim is to us, whenever we call upon him? And what great nation is there that has such laws and righteous right rulings, like all this Torah which I command before you this day? Only guard yourself and guard your life diligently, lest you forget the words your eyes have seen, unless they turn aside from your heart all the days of your life, and you shall make them known to your children and your grandchildren. The day when you stood before Jehovah your Elohim in Horeb, Jehovah said to me, assemble the people to me, and I will make them hear my words, so that they learn to fear me all the days they live on the land, and teach them to their children. And you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire to the heart of the heavens, thickness, dark cloud, and thick darkness. Darkness, cloud, and thick darkness, And Jehovah spoke to you out of the midst of the fire. You heard a voice of words, but saw no form. You only heard a voice. And he made known to you his covenant which he commanded you to do, the 10 words, and he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone. And Jehovah commanded me at that time to teach you laws and right rulings, for you to do them in the land which you pass over to possess. Therefore, diligently guard yourselves, for you saw no form, when Jehovah spoke to you at Horeb out of the midst of the fire, lest you do corruptly, and shall make for yourself a carved image in the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, or the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the heavens, the likeness of any creature that creeps upon the ground, or the likeness of any fish that is in the water under the earth. And lest you lift up your eyes to the heavens, and shall see the sun, and the moon, and the stars, and the hosts of heaven, and you be drawn away into bowing down to them and serving them, which Jehovah your Elohim has allotted to all the peoples all under all the heavens. But Jehovah has taken you and brought you out of the iron furnace, out of Mitzrayim, to be his people, an inheritance as it is today. And Jehovah was enraged with me because of your words, and swore that I would not pass over this Jordan, and that I would not enter into the good land which Jehovah your Elohim is giving you as an inheritance. For I am to die in this land. I am not passing over the Yarden, but you are passing over, and shall possess that good land. Guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant. Guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yehovah your Elohim, which he made with you, and shall make for yourselves a carved image in the form of whatever Yehovah your Elohim has forbidden you. For Yehovah your Elohim is a consuming fire, a jealous El. When you bring forth children and grandchildren, and shall grow old in the land, and shall do corruptly, and shall make carved images in the form of whatever, and shall do what is evil in the eyes of Yehovah your Elohim to provoke him, I shall call the heavens and the earth to witness against you on that day, that you soon completely perish from the land which you are passing over this Yarden to possess. You do not prolong your days in it, but are completely destroyed. And Yehovah shall scatter you amongst the Gentiles, and you shall be left few in number amongst the Gentiles where Yehovah drives you. And there you shall serve mighty ones, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor smell. But from there you shall seek Yehovah your Elohim, and shall find, when you search for him with all of your heart and with all of your being. In your distress, when all these words shall come upon you in the latter days, then you shall return to Yehovah your Elohim, and shall obey his voice. For Yehovah your Elohim is a compassionate El. He does not forsake you. He does not destroy you, nor does he forget the covenant of your fathers which he swore to them. For ask now in the days that are past, which were before you, and since the day that Elohim created man on the earth, and ask from one end of the heavens to the other end of the heavens, whether there has been a word as great as this, or has been heard like it. Has a people heard the voice of Elohim speaking out of the midst of the fire, as you have, and you have heard and have lived? Or has Elohim tried to go and take for himself a nation from the midst of a nation by trials and by signs and by wonders, and by battle and by strong hand and by outstretched arm, and by great fearsome deeds, according to all that Yehovah your Elohim did for you in Mitzrayim before your eyes? You have been shown it to know that Yehovah himself is Elohim, and there is no one beside him. From the heavens he let you hear his voice to instruct you, and on earth he showed you his great fire, and you heard his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved your fathers, therefore he chose their seed after them, and brought you out of Mitzrayim, his presence and his great power, to drive out from before you nations greater and stronger than you, to bring you in, to give you their land as an inheritance, as it is this day. And you shall know today, and shall recall to your heart, that Yehovah himself is Elohim in the heavens above, and on the earth beneath, and there is none else. And you shall guard his laws and his commandments, which I command you here today, so that it is well with you and your children after you, so that you prolong your days on the land which Yehovah your Elohim is giving you for all time. Then Moshe separated 3 cities beyond the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun, for him who killed someone to flee there, he who kills his neighbor unintentionally without having hated him in time past, and might flee to one of these cities and live. Betser in the wilderness in the level land of the Reubenites, and Ramoth in Gilead for the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan for the Menashites. And this is the Torah which Moses set before the children of Israel. These are the witnesses in the laws and the right rulings which Moses spoke to the children of Israel after they came out of Mitzrayim. Beyond the Yarden, in the valley opposite Beit Peor, in the land of Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon, whom Moshe and the children of Israel had smitten after they came out of Mitzrayim. And they took possession of this land, and the land of Og, sovereign of Bashan, the 2 sovereigns of the Amorites who were beyond the Yarden, toward the rising of the sun, from the Aroer, which is on the bank of the Wadi Arnon, even to Mount Sion, which is Hermon. and all the desert plain beyond the Yarden, as far as the sea of the Arabah, below the slopes of Pisgah. Now in chapter 5. And Moses called all Israel and said unto them, Hear, O Israel, the laws and the right rulings which I speak in your hearing today, and you shall learn them, and shall guard to do them. Yehovah our Elohim made a covenant with us in Horeb. Yehovah did not make this covenant with our fathers, but with us, those who are here today, all of us who are alive. Yehovah spoke with you face to face on the mountain from the midst of the fire. And I stood between Yehovah and you at that time to declare to you the word of Yehovah. For you were afraid because of the fire, and you did not go up to the mountain, saying, I am Yehovah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. You have no mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourselves a carved image, any likeness of which is in the heavens above, or the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them, nor serve them, for I, Yehovah your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the crookedness of the fathers upon the children to the third and the fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing kindness to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commandments. You do not bring the name of Yehovah your Elohim to nothing, for Yehovah does not leave him unpunished who brings his name to nothing. Guard the Sabbath day to set it apart, as Yehovah your Elohim commanded you. 6 days you labor and shall do all of your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of Yehovah your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, nor your sons, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your ox, nor your donkey, nor any of your cattle, nor your stranger which is within your gates, nor that your male servant or female servant, that they rest within you. They rest with you, And you shall remember that you were slaves in the land of Mitzrayim, and that Yehovah your Elohim brought you out from there by a strong hand and by an outstretched arm, saying, Therefore, Yehovah your Elohim commanded you to observe the Sabbath day. Respect your father and your mother, as Yehovah your Elohim has commanded you, so that your days are prolonged, and so that it is well with you in the land which Yehovah your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder. You do not commit adultery. You do not steal. You do not bear false witness against your neighbor. You do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor do you desire your neighbor's house, his field, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. These words Yehovah spoke to all your assembly in the mountain from the midst of the fire, of cloud and of thick darkness, with a loud voice, and he added no more, and he wrote them down on 2 tablets of stones and gave them to me. And it came to be, when you heard the voice from the midst of the darkness, while the mountain was burning with fire, that you came near to me, all the heads of the tribes and your elders, and said, See, Yehovah our Elohim has shown us his esteem and his greatness, and we have heard his voice from the midst of the fire. Today we have seen that Elohim speaks with man, and he lives. And now why should we die? For this great fire is consuming us. If we hear the voice of Yehovah our Elohim any more, then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh who has heard the voice of the living Elohim speaking from the midst of the fire as we have, and does live? You go near and hear all that Yehovah our Elohim says, and speak to us all that Yehovah our Elohim says to you, and we shall hear and do it. And Yehovah heard your voice, heard the voice of your words when you spoke to me, and Yehovah said to me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people which they have spoken to you. They have done well in all that they have spoken. Oh, that they had had such a heart in them to fear me and to guard my commandments always, so that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Go say to them, return to your tents. But you stand here by me, and let me speak to you all the commands and all the laws and all the right rulings which you are to teach to them. And they shall do them in the land which I am giving to them to possess. And you shall guard to do it as Yehovah your Elohim has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right nor to the left. Walk in all the ways which Yehovah your Elohim has commanded you, so that you live and it be well with you, and you shall prolong your days in the land which you possess. Chapter 6. And this is the command, the laws and the right rulings which Yehovah your Elohim has commanded, to teach you to do in the land which you are passing over to possess, so that you fear Yehovah your Elohim, to guard all his laws and his commands which I command you, you and your sons and your grandsons, all the days of your life, and that your days be prolonged. And you shall hear, O Israel, and shall guard to do it, that it be well with you, and that you increase greatly, as Yehovah Elohim of your fathers has spoken to you, in the land flowing with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yehovah our Elohim, Yehovah is one. And you shall love Yehovah your Elohim with all of your heart, with all of your being, and with all of your might. And these words which I'm commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. And it shall be, when Yehovah your Elohim brings you into the land of which he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Yitzhak, and to Yaakov, to give you great and good cities which you did not build, and houses filled with all kinds of good which you did not fill, and wells dug which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees which you did not plant, and you shall eat and be satisfied. Be on guard, lest you forget Yehovah who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim and the house of bondage. Fear Yehovah your Elohim, and serve him, and swear by his name. Do not go after other mighty ones, the mighty ones of the peoples who are all around you. For Yehovah your Elohim is a jealous El in your midst, lest the displeasure of Yehovah your Elohim burn against you. Then he shall destroy you from the face of the land. Do not try Yehovah your Elohim as you tried him at Massah. Diligently guard the commands of Yehovah your Elohim and his witnesses and his laws which he has commanded you. And you shall do what is right and good in the eyes of Yehovah, that it be well with you. And you shall go in and possess the good land of which Yehovah swore to your fathers, to drive out all your enemies from before you, as Yehovah has spoken. When your son asks you in the time to come, saying, what is the meaning of the witness and the laws and the right rulings which Yehovah our Elohim has commanded you? Then you shall say to your son, we were slaves of Pharaoh in Mitzrayim, and Yehovah brought us out of Mitzrayim with a strong hand. And Yehovah sent signs and wonders, great and grievous, upon Mitzrayim, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his house, before our eyes. And he brought us out from there to bring us in, to give us the land of which he swore to our fathers. And Yehovah commanded us to do all these laws, to fear Yehovah our Elohim for our good, always, to keep us alive as it is this day. And it is righteousness for us. And it is righteousness for us when we guard to do all this command before Yehovah our Elohim as he commanded us. Chapter 7. When Yehovah your Elohim brings you into the land which you go in to possess, he shall also clear away many nations before you, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when Yehovah your Elohim gives them over to you, you shall smite them and put them under the ban completely. Make no covenant with them and show them no favor. And do not intermarry with them. You do not give your daughter to his son, and do not take his daughter for your son. For he turns your sons away from following me, to serve other mighty ones. Then the displeasure of Yehovah shall burn against you and promptly destroy you. But this is what you do to them: break down their altars, smash their pillars, cut down their asherim, and burn their carved images with fire. For you are a set-apart people to Yehovah, your Elohim. Yehovah, your Elohim, has chosen you to be a people for himself, a treasured possession above all the peoples upon the face of the earth. Yehovah did not set his love on you, nor choose you because you were more numerous than any other people, for you were the least of all peoples. But because of Yehovah loving you, and because of him guarding the oath which he swore to your fathers, Yehovah has brought you out with a strong hand and redeemed you from the house of bondage and from the hand of Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim. And you shall know that Yehovah your Elohim, he is Elohim, the trustworthy El, guarding covenant and kindness for 1,000 generations to those who love him and to those who guard his commands, but repaying those who hate him to their face, to destroy them. He does not delay to do with him who hates him. He repays him to his face. And you shall guard the command and the laws and the right rulings which I command you today to do them. And it shall be because you hear these right rulings and shall guard to do them, that Yehovah your Elohim shall guard with you the covenant and the kindness which he swore to your fathers, and shall love you and bless you and increase you, and shall bless the fruit of your womb and the fruit of your land, your grain and your new wine and your oil, the increase of your cattle and the offspring of your flock, and the land which he swore to your fathers to give to you. Blessed are you above all peoples. There is not going to be a barren man or a barren woman among you or among your livestock. And Yehovah shall turn away from you all sickness, and put on you none of the evil diseases of Mitzrayim which you have known, but he shall put them on all those who hate you. And you shall consume all the peoples whom Yehovah your Elohim is delivering over to you. Your eyes shall not pardon them, and do not serve the mighty ones, their mighty ones, for that is their snare to you. When you say in your heart, these nations are greater than I am unable to drive them out, do not be afraid of them. Remember well that Yehovah your Elohim did to Pharaoh and to all of Mitzrayim. The great trials which your eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders, the strong hand and the outstretched arm by which Yehovah your Elohim brought you out. Yehovah your Elohim does not, Yehovah your Elohim does so to all the peoples of whom you are afraid. And Yehovah your Elohim also sends the hornet among them until those who are left, unto those who are left, who hide themselves from you, and until they are destroyed. Do not be afraid of them, for Yehovah your Elohim, the great and awesome El, is in your midst. And Yehovah your Elohim shall drive out those nations from before you, little by little. You are not allowed to destroy them all at once, lest the beasts of the field become too numerous for you. But Yehovah your Elohim shall deliver them over to you and destroy them with a great destruction until they are consumed. And he shall give their sovereigns into your hand, and you shall destroy their name from under the heavens. No one is going to be able to stand against you until you have destroyed them. The carved images of their mighty ones you are to burn with fire. Do not covet the silver or the gold that is on them, nor take it for yourselves, lest you be snared by it, for it is an abomination to Yehovah your God, to your Elohim. And do not bring an abomination into your house, lest you be accursed like it. Utterly loathe it, utterly hate it, for it is accursed. And this concludes the Day 2 reading of Deuteronomy. We'll pick this up again tomorrow for Day 3. Shalom Aleichem and Hag Sameach.
We're talking Torah. Talking Torah.